Hey guys, welcome to this week's team call for Rocket Nation. It is October the 5th, and our special guest speaker tonight is Emily Bryant, who is killing it right now. We're going to go ahead and bring her on, and she's going to share her heart and what she's been doing. So go ahead, Emily. You can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Okay, so when I thought about what I wanted to share tonight, there were about 5 or 6 things that came to mind. First being my why. And I think as coaches, we have to remember what our why is and why we even started this journey ourselves. Some of us started just as challengers like I did. Some of us started from being a coach right off the get-go. And I think you have to remember that why in order to, sorry, Kyle's walking downstairs and I can hear myself and it was weird. You have to remember that why, because that is what keeps me going. When I thought about it today, I pushed play for the 146th day in a row without missing a single workout. In my own why and why I started this, I'm actually pretty stubborn and thought that I could do it myself. My coach is laughing. The funny thing is when I first started this, I had it used to be that I could drop 10 pounds just by stop drinking pop or give up desserts for a couple weeks. I've always been an athlete, and so it didn't get hard for me until after I had my 3rd child. And I feel like I had lost myself. I didn't recognize the girl in the pictures. I didn't recognize the girl in the mirror. And I didn't like what I saw, and it just didn't feel like me. And so I ended up, Melissa had been posting a bunch of stuff, and she even invited me, like probably a year ago, do you want to join me? And I was stubborn, and I thought, I'm a teacher. I teach nutrition. I teach health and wellness is one of the classes that I teach. I know all the right things to do. So I thought, why would I need to join a group that, no, I'll just do it myself. And so I joined a friend, and we went to the gym religiously, like 4 to 5 times a week for multiple hours a week. And I lost the same 2 pounds over and over again. Like I would lose 4, gain 2, lose 2, gain 1. It was the same 2 pounds over and over. And after 20 weeks of being stubborn, I finally reached out to Melissa and said, okay, what's your secret? What do you got? Because what I'm doing is not working. I had actually had a really rough week prior to that. They have like a health screening at work. And I had gone and I took a piece of paper out of that screening that had my name on it, and it said obese next to it. And that was kind of I was embarrassed that my place of employment had that piece of paper that said my name and the fact that I was obese on it. And and then I thought, well, it can't be me because I'm doing all the right things. I'm eating right. I'm working out. So I even went to my doctor and asked my doctor, I thought maybe I had like something wrong with my thyroid or something. And my doctor actually told me that, he said, Emily, you come from a big family and you are over age 30. So, your blood numbers and everything look great. You're like supermodel on the inside. You just got to learn to love the new you on the outside. And I cried all the way home. And I thought, no, I don't have to love this person on the outside. And I'm not satisfied with that. And so that is when I reached out to Melissa and was like, all right, what do you got? Because I'm stuck here and what I'm doing is not working. And I think that was the turning point for me, is feeling like I could let loose of that pride a little bit and ask for help. And so she got me started, and that's when I found that my why that day after I saw the doctor is my why is because I'm worth it. I am worth 30 minutes a day. I'm worth the good nutrition. I am made for more. I want to be more to everyone around me, more for my kids, more for my family, but mainly for me. And so on days that it's hard to push play, that's my why. And that's what makes me push it for 146 days in a row without missing, because it's that important to me. I always think about the old saying, you know, when you get on an airplane and they talk about putting on your oxygen mask and how they always instruct you to put on your mask first before you assist others. And I feel like this business is kind of the same way. You have to take care of you by doing your workouts, drinking your shake, doing your nutrition every single day in order to be able to help others do the same thing. Kyle and I have a saying that we kind of laugh about in years past, like, we would never take money advice from a poor person, just like I wouldn't want to take fitness advice from somebody who isn't working on being fit themselves. And so I never want to ask challengers to do something that I haven't been able to personally do myself. I have people that tell me, oh, I don't have time to work out. I have 2 kids. Yep, I got 3. Yep, I understand what it's like to have kids. Or they tell me, I don't have time because I work full time. Yep, me too. I teach school and I work full time too. And so that's one of those things, like, and I always tell my challengers, you know, hashtag no excuses, because there is time. You just have to make it a priority, and you have to make sure that you schedule, like I schedule my day around my workouts. That's first and foremost. I will work out, and it's part of my day, and I'm worth it. Another thing that I kind of wanted to talk to you about that was specific to my journey is I started, like Brian always talks about PD, and this was actually one of the very first books that I read that had to do with like diet or wellness, and it's called Made to Crave. And when I read this book, I felt like it was written for me. It's about a lady who wants to not go to food for comfort, and she also like 60-day Made to Crave devotional. And that has changed my life as far as PD goes, because I've learned to replace my cravings and desire of food with my faith. And I've been able to make my business and who I reach out to a matter of prayer. And that helps me to not have any worries or fears. And it helps me to try and to test it and to know that his promises are true. And so that's been kind of something else that I've been focusing on. The other thing that I wanted to say was the biggest thing is you have to be you when you're doing this. And so like for me, I'm a teacher, and that's my style, is I take a plan. Teachers like to make plans. They like to get things organized. And then I do what's called front loading, and then I encourage my challengers. One thing that I've done the past 2 months that has worked really well for me is I am planning and thinking at least 6 weeks out. Which what that means is I'm already working on my December group right now, because I want the month of November to teach them how to do this. If you think about it from a school point of view, if you show up to class late, or if you show up to class unprepared, you feel unsuccessful from the very first day, from the get-go. And I know that I've had a couple of challengers my very first month that didn't join until like 2 days before the challenge started, and they weren't successful. They didn't feel ready. And so I would just encourage you to try to plan ahead and try to think and picture way in advance, so that you can prepare these people to actually change this lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle, and for some people it's a huge change. In order to make this plan, I ask myself 3 things. First of all, what do I want them to know? So I think about my challengers, and I say, and I think about, what do I want them to get out of this? What do I want them to know before they begin? Then I have to think about and plan out, how am I going to get them there? What kind of tools and resources do I need to provide them with to get them to where they need to be? And then last but not least, how do I know when they've got it? How do I know when they are definitely prepared and ready to do this on their own? And then I live by the Nike philosophy, just do it. And so that's kind of where I've been as far as you. The other thing is, you can't, like, my husband is a coach as well, and he has tried using some of the things that I've used as far as scripts and such. And in my opinion, you can't really, this isn't a cut and paste business. You have to be you, and that's why people are drawn to you, and that's why people want to follow you, and that's why people like you. If I cut and paste Kyle's scripts, it's not coming from me or from my heart, and it's not as effective. So I would encourage you to think about how you want to communicate to your challengers from your heart and telling your story, your experiences. Another thing that I will say is you have to set goals. Like I said, I'm pretty stubborn, and I'm pretty motivated by competition and that kind of thing. And so when I set a goal, like not achieving it is unacceptable. Like I'm going to work towards it until I achieve that goal. And I actually used to sell Mary Kay, believe it or not, several years ago. And I have learned a lot from doing that, mainly by failing miserably at it. I had a great first couple of months because I contacted all my friends and all my family. And once I got through my friends and family, I was out of people, and I didn't know where to go from there. And my upline would tell me, well, have you worked your business today? Yes, I worked for 2 hours downstairs. Well, what I was doing was organizing boxes and putting things in color-coded order and making things look all neat and tidy. And then I'd come upstairs and think, wow, I worked for 2 hours, worked my business. But what they used to tell us is that's not a money-making behavior. So what I have done is I set a nightly goal that, like, for the first 2 weeks of every month, I contact 5 to 10 people every single night. And not just contact them, I invite them. Inviting people is a money-making behavior. We can say that we're working this business by reading GoPro or whatever PD book you're doing, or watching reading videos, or making videos, or doing any of those things. But if we're not actually inviting people to our challenge groups.
Hey, Emily.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Whoever's on the phone, can you guys mute yourselves? It's kind of hard to hear Emily.
Is that better? Okay. But what I was saying is, if you can work this business for hours a night just watching training videos and reading your books and making videos and doing silly stuff like that, or making pictures or taking pictures. But if you're not inviting people to your challenge groups, there is no challenge group. You have to send out the actual invites. And so for me, I don't go to bed at night until I have sent out at least 5 invites. Not just talking to people, inviting people. The first month I got kind of my feelings hurt when people kept telling me no, because I thought, why would you not want to do this? But now I don't take it personally at all. Like, I send the invite, worst case scenario, they say no. The reason I got so many success points last month is because a lot of the people that I had contacted a couple months ago, all of a sudden kept seeing my story on Facebook and seeing my interaction with other people. And then all of a sudden they're contacting me. Okay, so what was this you were telling me about joining a challenge group? Are you still doing one of those? That kind of a thing. So don't be afraid to actually send the invite. Another thing that I've noticed is a lot of people want to personally be invited. So like once a month, I might put something on Facebook that says, hey, who wants to join me? I'm starting a group November 1st. But what I have found is people don't just want to do like a cattle call. They want to be personally invited. It makes them feel like you want them there and you want to work with them. And I've gotten much better results from actually sending out an invite and saying, hey, Trisha, I haven't talked to you for a while. What have you been up to? I don't know if you're interested, but I'm starting a challenge group November 1st. You want to join me? It's going to be fun. Get a big group together and let's do this together. And people have responded well to that. The other thing that I was going to tell you is my friend, Jenny, don't hate me when I tell this story. My friend and I that used to go to the gym together, every Saturday we had a challenge where we would lift weights and work out all week. And then every Saturday we decided we were going to do the mile challenge. And we were going to get on the treadmill and we were going to run this mile. And we had certain times we wanted to meet and all of these things. And that first week, running on the treadmill was rough. We had talked about it ahead of time and decided that we were going to run at the same pace and stay together the entire time. And we were going to finish the mile at the same time, and so on and so forth. And I felt really bad because when we were doing that, I felt like it wasn't at my pace. And I felt like I was having to like change my stride and that kind of thing to run at the same pace as my friend. And my friend was feeling like her little legs were running crazy because she's a lot shorter than I am. And so she was just trying to keep up, and neither one of us finished the mile feeling great about it. Fast forward a couple weeks, and we decided to run the mile at our own pace, but to be there to support each other and encourage each other until we finished. And I remember I was running so fast at one point, I yelled out, I'm a gazelle. And it's kind of a funny thing that we tell each other now, because it made her laugh, it made her keep going. And so I finished my mile and then cheered her on. She finished her mile, and we both left feeling so accomplished because we both finished. And then the next week, my goal was to beat my score, and her goal was to beat her score, which we did. And we did that for at least 3 or 4 more weeks doing that. And I guess my whole point of this story is think about the tortoise and the hare, and the fact that they kept in the race and they kept going. And as I was reading Go Pro, one of the tips that he gives us is forget your upline, which sounds crazy. Because I ask my upline tons of questions all the time, and that's what they are there for, and they're there for support and encouragement and to ask questions and such. But this business is my business, and so I have to run my business at my pace, just like on the treadmill. If I try to keep up with other people, it might burn me out to the point where I can't keep up, and I can't continue, and that's not good. And so I have to think about what kind of goals I have for my business and how Kyle and I can run our business so that it's at our pace and so that we can finish. So I would say the biggest thing is finishing the race, finishing that mile, making sure you stick with it, doing those money-making behaviors, putting on your oxygen mask, and making sure that you have yourself fit so that people can take fitness advice from you. Be you. So like for me, that's teacher. You be you. And then don't forget the tortoise and the hare, and making it a matter of prayer. The other thing that I wanted to share with you guys that makes me so incredibly passionate about this entire journey, like my doctor told me, I come from a big family, and so my parents, I love them to death, but they taught me nothing about nutrition. My dad is diabetic and has congestive heart failure. My mom is diabetic. My aunt, both of my mom's sisters are diabetic. My grandma and grandpa were diabetic, and my sister is pre-diabetic. So I'm genetically predisposed to some not so great things. My dad this past year had a health scare to where he's got some sores on the bottom of his feet because of his diabetes, and they aren't healing. And he's having to go to a wound health clinic basically to try to get his feet to heal up. And they healed up, and then he went right back to his old eating habits, and now they're bad again. And so he's back down at the hospital 4 times a week trying to get his feet to heal. The thing that makes me incredibly sad about this is several years ago, when people told him what he needed to change and what he needed to do, he didn't do it. And so now I'm seeing the direct results of what happens if you don't live this lifestyle. And I don't want that. I don't want that for me, and I don't want that for my kids. And I want to make I want to teach them, and I want to make it a good example so that they know how to eat and that they know how to live this lifestyle so that they can have a long, happy, healthy life. My aunt just recently was in the hospital with kidney failure because of her diabetes. And they since then have put her on dialysis. And I was so angry when I went to the hospital because my sister had taken my aunt a large chocolate shake, that she was literally laying in the hospital for diabetes, drinking a large chocolate shake from Dairy Queen. And I was just, it's like seeing somebody with lung cancer smoking a cigarette. You just want to ask them, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And so by seeing those kinds of things and that happening with my aunt, I finally, just this past month, my mom has decided that she wants to try this out. And she's lost like 15 pounds and her blood sugar is down over 80 points now. Her doctor said if she can keep her blood sugar down for another 2 or 3 months, they're going to start taking her off of diabetes medication. So I'm so happy for her. And then just this past month, actually just this past week, my sister, who I don't know if you guys remember, I told the story about the hoarder and the person who felt like she had made such a mess with dieting in her life that she was a hoarder. She didn't know where to start. That was my sister, my baby sister. And she has allowed me to start coaching her and helping her. I sat down with her last week and we meal planned together. She just didn't even know where to start. And so I think that's an important thing as being a coach, is you have to meet your challengers where they are and help them from where they are and help them along that way. And remember, it's just 1 pound at a time, 1 day at a time. For the hoarding situation, 1 box at a time. And anybody can do this. Anybody can coach. So Sarah, that's all I got for right now.
That was awesome. Really great points too, because I relate a lot to you as well with wanting to be worth it. For one, my why. I didn't like who I was seeing in the mirror, and it wasn't until I saw a full body picture of myself, I was like, how did I get here? Like, what happened? And then helping others along the way and just being continuous over and over, trying to help those people. I guess my question for you, I'm going to give you a question, would be what kind of things, I know that you said you try to help guide your challengers and your coaches. What kind of tools do you give them along the way to better help them reach their goals?
Well, first of all, I ask them what their goals are, and it's amazing how many people don't have a goal set. Like even my sister, I said, so what's your goal? And she was like, I don't know. And so I try to get them to focus in on a goal, because if you have a goal, you have something to reach for. And then you can make it into a SMART goal. A SMART goal stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time related. So then we talk through those steps. As far as tools and things, like I said, I'm a teacher, so I believe a lot in face-to-face and one-on-one. So I do a lot of checking in with people. And with my challengers, I check in with them once a week individually so that I can see how they are doing. I ask them what their struggles are, what's the success that you have, and then what's something that you're proud of. It's kind of like a positive sandwich. That has really helped, because when I phrase it that way, they tell me, something that's going well, something that they need, help on. And then I know how to help for that week. And I know what kinds of resources I can post on my challenge groups and that kind of a thing. As far as my coaches, Jenny and Chris started about the same time we are. So we're trying to wade through this all together. And then I've got a couple of brand new coaches that I'm just kind of sending little snippets to get them started. Again, I'm trying to let them run at their own pace. I don't expect them to jump on the treadmill and be running where I am right now. So I think about when I started, what would I have wanted as far as somebody holding my hand, walking me through this step 1, step 2, step 3. And so that's kind of what I've been doing for them.
That's great. I think that's very helpful too, because a lot of even my challengers, I find that as well. Some of them, it depends on, who you talk to, but a lot of them want you to tell them step by step how to do this. And you can kind of get deeper into their goals, because, just losing weight is not a deep enough goal. It's definitely something you need to dive deeper into. So there's not much time left, but I wanted to open it up. Does anyone else have any questions for Emily that you would like to ask her? You can unmute yourself, or you can type it in the chat that she can answer that for you. Maybe type web. All right. Other than that, that was it. I'll give a little bit of time here just to see if anyone is typing. But yeah, it was a really great call.
First time for everything, right?
Yeah, it was good. You did good. All right. All right. Well, that is it. And we will see you guys next week on Rocket Nation's call, and see you later.